Hello, I'm the Cartoon Gentleman, bringing you organized chaos. And you know what? Tonight I'm going to ask a question. If you were to be part of a kid-friendly anime, what would you be a part of? Most people would probably say Pokemon. People with half a brain would say Digimon. And for those small few who just can't seem to let go of a childhood, Yu-Gi-Oh! But you know what? There's actually one anime in particular that doesn't seem all too far off, but yet nobody ever really contemplates because it is so underrated, and nobody ever wants to talk about it, even though it's such a mind-blowing concept. And I don't understand why nobody... Okay, just breathe in, out, in, out. Okay, I'm cool. Anyway, this is a review on the show Medabots. The world of Medabots is a world very similar to our own. It's got regular people, regular jobs, regular Joes, except instead of the next iPhone 6, this world has freaking toy robots that battle each other to the death. How did this concept not catch on? To reuse my previous joke, toy robots that have sentient life are pretty much the new iPhone 6. Every kid has one, and whoever doesn't have one is a complete loser. Speaking of that, we meet our main character, Ikki Tenryo, who's upset that he doesn't have a Medabot, but everybody else at his school does. How dare your family not be financially sound to support your needs? Well, apparently he hasn't the money to buy a used one, but he turns it down. But when his friend Eureka is in trouble, he goes to the store immediately in order to buy this rusted-out piece of junk, who turns out to be one of the most badass Medabots ever. Meet Medabi. Well, let's see, this is a kids anime, so I'm assuming that Medabi and Ikki Tenryo obviously start out hating each other. And you're right. Congratulations, have a cookie. Both Ikki and Medabi have a stubborn attitude that makes their teamwork skills very hard to deal with. But when the two of them work together, they're an unstoppable team. And together, they go on adventures, defeat other robots, and fight their way to be the world champions of Medabots. And I only have one question. How did this concept not catch on? I mean, we got Pokemon who fight to the death. Oh, sure. Put defenseless animals together and have them fight to the death, that's okay. But when robots do it, we don't care. Ugh. Honestly, this anime deserves a lot more praise than what it gets. Well, what's a show without some supporting characters? This is Eureka, and she is the main love interest of sorts. Well, I would say eye candy, but I think she's a kindergartner. I don't really know. The age of these kids are never really specified. Eureka sort of serves as the love interest that's kind of useless, but at the very least they gave her a likable enough personality. Or at least something. I mean, usually these female archetypes don't have any kind of redeeming traits at all. But Eureka has that in spades. We give our useless and pointless character to our other female protagonist. What's her face? The redhead. That redhead one. I'm sorry, what was her name again? Karen, yeah, Carrot Top. Yeah, Karen doesn't really do much. And she doesn't really have that much of a personality either. She just sort of has that whole I will help you no matter what sort of personality, and that's tiring. That's really tiring. Give me Eureka over Karen any day of the week. But what is a combat anime without a rival? Optimus has a Megatron, Captain America has a Red Skull, so the rival for Ikki Tenryo and Medabi is Koji Karakuchi and Sumilidon. Yeah, Koji doesn't really have much of a personality either, but at the very least he does stuff, unlike Karen. And his Medabot Sumilidon is actually quite the badass. Fun fact, it was modeled after a saber-toothed tiger. And his claws kind of resemble more Wolverine. It's pretty awesome. It's kind of a shame that he becomes more useless as the series goes out. Huh? What's that? Okay. Okay, I was using the bad examples for rivals. I should have said something like Goku and Vegeta. No. But this show definitely has some good antagonists that I could have used those examples for. Well, this show's got some antagonists in the form of the Rubber Robo Gang. If you're wondering what they're all about, just think of a more extreme Team Rocket. Yeah, I said that. A more extreme Team Rocket, and you pretty much got the Rubber Robo Gang. But I'll give them credit, and credit's due. I think they're actually better than Team Rocket. And before you decapitate my head with this plastic Zorro sword, just please hear me out. The Rubber Robo Gang had a lot more extremities. And they had more of a robot of the week whenever they needed a quick getaway. Team Rocket essentially just stuck to the same routine over and over again. They come up with a plan, they summon a giant robot, when that fails they go into a Pokemon battle where they use the exact same Pokemon repeatedly, and Team Rocket blasts off again. The Rubber Robo Gang at the very least had some quirks to them, some originality. They sort of served as Rita Repulsa's monster of the day, except they used the Medabots. Which, comes to think of it, how did they afford so many? Well, Medabots really are the iPhones of that universe. Well, if you're looking for more of an anti-hero renegade, look no further than both the Phantom Renegade and Rokusho. Rokusho is a lone Medabot, searching for the one responsible for killing his Metafighter. And the Phantom Renegade serves as sort of a more vigilante Batman who steals rare metals in order to protect them. Huh? What's that? What, you don't know what a metal is?
Well, allow me to explain. Metals are sort of like the Medabot's brain, and what gives them their power. And the Rubber Robo Gang and the Phantom Renegade are trying to find rare metals, so they could use them to take over the world. I don't know, this is a kid's show, they're so convoluted.
Well, as far as stories go, this one was pretty basic. Medabots usually follow the formula of Monster of the Week. Medabi and Ikitenryo get into a scruff, something happens that involves a Medabot, they get into a tuffle, and Medabi has to save the day by beating up whatever Medabot comes at them that week. So it's pretty basic. But a lot about what makes Medabots good is the animation and the fight scenes. They are phenomenally good. The first season of Medabots was so ridiculously animated to the extreme. There is no excuse for them to be this intense with their animations. But by God, thank you. It's one of the big factors that draws people into Medabots. The fight scenes, the fact that it's so fluid, it's just in awe. And despite what I might have said earlier, there is something of a story. It's actually a two-part story. And here it is. I guess what could be assumed as Season 1 of Medabots was mostly dedicated to Rokusho trying to find the secrets of what happened to his former Metafighter as he died in a fire. And Medabi had to help out every now and again, only to have a final clash between the two when the Rubber Robo Gang tricked Rokusho into attacking Dr. Aki, the creator, quote-unquote, of Medabots. And, well, shit got intense. This was also the arc where we learned what a rare metal can actually do. Produce a Kamehameha.
That's not right.
Do I have to say it?
Yes, you do.
They produced a Metaforce. It's very similar to the Kamehameha. Ow! I'm the only one allowed to hit.
Fine, next time I'll eat you.
And I'll let that substantial slide. But yeah, The easiest way to describe the Metaforce is think Kamehameha, an ultimate finishing move that can instantly eradicate any Medabot it comes across. Rokusha was able to tap into it to beat Medabi, and Medabi was able to tap into it to beat the Robo Emperor, possibly the most overkill Medabot there is. But then we got Season 2 where overkill was the understatement. Unlike Season 1, which was more episodic, Season 2 of Medabots actually had a linear storyline where Ikki was ranked 3rd best row battler in all of Japan, where he had to keep his title and get it back when he inevitably lost it in order to compete in the World Robot Row Battle Tournament, where he faced the best of the best the world had to offer. Fighting with him was, of course, Koji and Sumilidon, as well as Space Metafighter X. I'm not going to get into him. And the best way to describe Season 2 of Medabots is... Pokemon can suck it. That's the best way to describe it. We also got what is possibly one of the greatest second seasons ever to hit any type of kids show. Not one, but 2 giant robots show up. Possibly one of the epic showdowns of cartoon history between Medabi versus War Bandit and Victor, who has possibly one of the darkest backstories ever given to a kids show character. His family goes missing after 10 days of darkness, as they call it, where all the Medabots of the world ran amok and started killing everybody. And just so you know, when a cartoon says that a family goes missing, they dead. Also on top of that, how are these kids' toys? They make such a huge deal over the 10 days of darkness, how all the world's Medabots just ran amok and tore a world a new one. And yet, despite all that, the public never lost faith in them, and they continue to row battle regardless. These things should be destroyed! Unfortunately, Medabots would never exist in our world. The closest thing we got is that one show where home-built robots would fight to the death. But that's as far as we're ever gonna get, unfortunately. But is this show good? I would say, fuck yes. You need to watch it right now. Stop this video and watch it right now. But only watch Season 1 and 2. Stay away from Season 3 and 4. Oh, why? And that'll have to be saved for another review. In this case, I give Medabots Season 1 and 2 an A-.
Wow, that's the highest grade you ever gave a show on this show.
And how? That's how much I like it. It's got incredible animation, likable characters, and even though it starts off pretty cliche, it gets good. So, without further ado, I'm the Cartoon Gentleman, I brought you Organized Chaos, and I'm about to participate in my own row battle.
Are you ready?
Right, Optimus Prime. Whee!